What's going on, everybody? This is Zach with Strictly Shisha. Today I want to talk about coals, a product we use a lot but we don't think about that much. Today we're comparing Prestige Jumbo Flats, CocoUrth Flats, and Titanium Flats. I did a review of CocoUrth and Titanium in the past. Titanium review is very old, but they've been pretty consistent over the past year. So pretty much everything that applied in that video applies today. But I want to put these coals head to head because these are my top 3 favorite coals. And let's talk about the pros, the cons, and the performance of these 3 flat charcoal. Now, to give you guys some history on these brands, Titaniums have been out the longest. John was pioneering in the industry when it came to charcoal when there was very limited options available. He came out with his chronic hookah coals, made some improvements, came out with a totally separate line called Titaniums. They've been out for very many years now. He has cubes, cubettes, and these flats. CocoUrth, also great charcoal, been out for a very long time. I've used many kilos of this stuff. They have their mini quarter circles, they have the mini cubes, and then the flats that I'm using today. And I know they went through a recent revamp where they obtained their own factory so they could better quality control their coals. So since they've come out that revamp, I've been using a lot of them and they've been working really well. Similarly, Prestige, also been out a very long time. They recently went through a revamp as well, and they wanted to improve upon some of the critiques that they got with their original batch. So Prestige made some great changes. They're a lot less ashy, they're super consistent, and they're excellent coals. So these 3 coals are top contenders in the industry, and that's why I feel it's fair to put them head to head, because I love all 3 of these coals. They all work very well, and I have no problem using one or the other. Setup today, I'm using my B2 gorgeous pipe, obviously using a B2 hose. Mason tip, using my Alpaca Goodfella V4 with a layer of HD foil, and I'm packing the mix that I am hooked on right now. It is Trifecta Noir mixed with a little bit of peppermint shake, and I'm out of Ventura Peach, so I'm going with a little bit of dark BDH, also a peach melon mixture. So perfect mixture. Got the melon, got the peach, got the mint, got the floral. Oh, it's so good. I am hooked on this stuff. I just want to smoke it all day, and this has been my go-to mix now for the past couple weeks. If you guys did not see the review / talking about the Hookah Expo Worldwide and the Hookah Battle, check it out. They have full reviews of these flavors so you guys can see why I like them so much, and plus they're fun videos to watch. So let's jump into it. The first category that we're going to talk about is obviously lighting the coals. Light time on all these, very similar, negligible at most, a few seconds here and there difference. The Titaniums did light the slowest, but it was within a few seconds of the other ones, so it didn't matter to me. Smell on the burner, next category. I do light my coals outside, so the smell is not a big issue to me, but a few months ago I was lighting them inside and I did definitely notice the stench of one over the other. The CocoUrth had a much stronger stench compared to the Titaniums and the Prestige. Prestige, I barely smell them at all. Titaniums, about average smell. CocoUrth was a little bit stronger, but none of them were off-putting, none of them really bothered me. It's just something that I noticed. So for smell on the burner, they're all good with me. They're not like other coals that I've tried in the past where you cannot light them inside. If you had to light these inside or even in a lounge environment, they work fine with me. Just a reminder, these are natural coals. They do have to be lit on a burner of some sort. You cannot light these with a match or a lighter. There is no accelerant on these to help light them faster. So you do need a stove or a burner of some type, which is the type of coal I prefer. You guys know that I don't like the quick lighting coals. They taint the flavor of the bowl and they are less healthy. So in terms of the burners that I use, a lot of questions that you guys ask me, what is the best burner? Currently right now, I'm using a burner from Amazon, the iMusa burner. Link will be in the description below if you guys want to check out that burner. I've been using it for at least 6 months now. I've had one in the past. It lasts me forever. So this is my current favorite burner. Also, the second one I like is the one pictured here. The one I got was generic from China. I think I bought it from trifectatobacco.com. So definitely check this one out. This one does not power cycle. It stays on. It does have a bit of a wind cover and it has a nice girthy cord. So it's very high quality. It does cost a little bit more than the one that I'm using currently. Both of them are great burners. So if you're looking for a new one, definitely check out the links below for these burners because these are the ones I like. Some of the ones I've used from Walgreens last 3 months and then they go out, or they light so slowly because they're worn out that it just takes forever to light the coals and I just get so frustrated. So these are my 2 favorite burners at the moment. But you guys know all burners kind of suck. So if someone has some technology to make a better burner for charcoal, let me know because I would love to have one. I know John just released one of his custom burners, John branded burners. I don't know if they're gonna be any better. I have no information about them, but that's something I probably look forward to testing in the future. But those are the current 2 ones I'm liking right now. In terms of consistency on these coals, something that is very important to me because I hate when the coals are all different sizes. So the ones that I'm using today, I found 3 very similar coals to compare. By the way, I am timing this session. All 3 of the coals that I'm using today weighed about 10.8 grams. So they're all very consistent in sizing when they started. The cut on all of them, pretty consistent. They're not all lopsided and rhombuses like other coals that I've mentioned in the past. And in terms of the weight, the most variability came with the titaniums. I'll show you guys a chart right now of the actual weights of 5 random coals that I chose out of the box. Titaniums had the most variability. The most consistent were probably gonna be the CocoUrth and then the Prestige. Now, one thing to note, the Prestige are labeled as jumbo. Now, I think they use that word a little loosely because these are not jumbo. In terms of the weight of the 5 random coals that I picked, they're within a 1/10 of a gram of the CocoUrth and still very similar to the titanium. So size on all these is very consistent among all 3 brands, and the weight. I know some people claim that the Prestige are much heavier, they're much more dense, but based off the sample size that I have, they're pretty consistent with CocoUrth. So it is part of the industry standard size coalsing. I don't think they're any more dense by any means, but we'll see how that plays out in terms of longevity. Now I need a break from talking and I would like to smoke, so we will transition now into the taste of the coals and how they affect the bowl. I've been smoking for about 35 minutes now and it's still smoking so well. The flavor is shining through. I'm getting that floral mixture. I'm getting the sweetness from the peach and the cooling is there. So delicious, 0 tainting from the charcoal. Now I know it's not technically fair because I have 3 different brands on this one bowl, but I've tested many kilos, many lounge boxes of titaniums, many kilos of CocoUrth. I'm newer to Prestige, but I've tested enough to safely say that none of these will taint the flavor of the bowl and they're very pure tasting. One thing I would like to note though, the CocoUrth, if you do not light them all the way, maybe just a tad bit more than you'd expect, there is a mild taste. But if you light them all the way, there is no tainting of the flavor in the bowl. So I'd say check for all 3 of these. There is 0 tainting, which is very important to me. I don't want to taste charcoal. I want to taste the beautiful flavors like I packed today. In terms of heat output of all 3 of these coals, the titaniums are probably on the lower end of the spectrum. I would consider these a low heat coal. And the CocoUrth and the Prestige are kind of in the similar ballpark, a little bit warmer than the titaniums. If I had to make a guess without actually having to quantify with a thermometer, which I've done, I would say the Prestige are just a tad bit warmer than the CocoUrth, but they're both very similar. All 3 of these are very easy to heat manage. They're not overly hot, kind of like the Haze coals were on the highest end of the spectrum. Super hot coals. The XL cubes from Charcoal Flare, granted they're much larger, those were very hot. These are still 3 coals on a bowl like this, smokes very well. I could probably throw 4 of any of these brand on and still be able to heat manage very easily. So heat output on all these is to be as expected. But if you really did have that heat sensitive tobacco and you wanted the lowest heat coal of the 3, I would say choose titaniums. When I'm smoking Tangiers, titaniums is the way I prefer, but I smoke with all 3 of these coals with Tangiers and there's no problem at all. So all of them work really well in that aspect. Now, let's get into it now. It's been about 40 minutes. Let's see how these things ash in real time. This is the Prestige, as you guys can see here. Pretty decent amount of ash, not bad, hard to see on the B2 tray. Pretty good size still so far. This is the titaniums. Visibly smaller because the ash has fallen down and did not stick to the coal as much. So you'll see less ash falling off, but the end product is still very similar in size to the Prestige. Now the CocoUrth, which has a giant crack in the middle, visibly right off the burner I did see a giant crack. So let's see if this cracks in half on the tray. did not crack on the tray. So as you guys can see, after about 40 minutes, all 3 coals have maintained pretty good size. So I'd say the longevity on these is pretty good. None of them had an excess amount of ash that I would be unhappy with. So in terms of ash, they all are pretty ash not friendly? I don't know. There's not a lot of ash on these, and how they're holding up over time, I'm pretty happy with. There's no blacking out. They still all look pretty cherry to me. So I'd say check in terms of longevity and check in terms of ash content of all 3 top quality coals. Let's get into the value and the quantities that these come in. All 3 of them obviously come in a cardboard box, nothing fancy like the Cloud Coals, but I don't care because I don't want to pay for that packaging. The CocoUrth come in a 96 piece box. Retail price is $12.99. The Prestige also 96 pieces in a box for $12.99. And the Titaniums is 108 pieces for $13.99. Boxes are very similar in size. Maybe the Titanium's just a little bit smaller, or they packed them a little bit differently. So you do get a little bit more coal in there with a little bit more increase in price. But basically, all 3 of them, very, very similar in price. You're paying about 14 cents a coal versus 13 cents a coal. So not a big deal, negligible to me. It would not make a difference to me when buying all 3 of them. I just picked the one that was on sale between the 3 of them when it comes to pricing, because they're all equally as good, which I kind of just ruined the surprise of the video. But you guys know by now in the video, I can tell you guys that all 3 coals are excellent coals to choose from. These are my favorite coals. These are the ones that I spend my money on, and these are the 3 coals that I would recommend to you guys. One thing I will note though, the CocoUrths I have experienced in this past batch alone, they have been cracking a little. Some people have said in the past that the Titaniums crack, but the Prestige, I haven't used them enough to see any cracking, but we went through boxes and boxes at the expo with 0 cracking. So I would say it varies batch to batch amongst all 3 brands. I think some batches are just better than the other ones, but as you can see, they're still great. A few cracks here and there on a few batches over this many year period that I've been using them. I'm not really that worried. They are top tier coals. They do not black out. So I would recommend all 3 brands to you guys. Whatever you guys want to buy, whatever's readily available for you. If you can get Titaniums locally, pick them up. If you got a buddy who sells you Prestige off the truck, buy them, because it doesn't matter. I think these are all 3 very, very good coals. So thank you guys very much for watching. Sorry I don't have a conclusive answer for you, but these guys just make good quality products. So I like all 3 of these brands. If you guys have a coal that you guys want me to check out, definitely comment below and I will check them out. Actually, I talk about a coal real quick. The Charcoal Flare XL Cubes. I'm not gonna do a full review on these. They are giant. They are much bigger than any other cube on the market. I've done pretty extensive testing on these things. I like Charcoal Flare. I think they're excellent quality coals. I did have a bit of a hiccup with these XL Cubes. They did crack, a layer of them kind of sheared off the top, and they did burn my carpet, and I got in big trouble, and I was in the doghouse. I didn't have to sleep on the couch, but I was in trouble. So those put a bad taste in my mouth. I don't like burning things. I don't like ruining things. So I had a kind of an iffy issue with the Charcoal Flare XL Cubes. But in terms of performance, those were excellent as well. And I could probably recommend those to you guys. Maybe I just had bad luck on that one coal. So also an excellent coal. Coal market these days is pretty competitive. Everyone's doing a pretty good job. So thank you guys for producing good products. If you guys want to see a review of anything in particular, definitely message me, comment, email, because I don't know what to review next. I'm about to place an order for you guys to find some stuff to review. So let me know what you guys want to see, because I literally have nothing to review. I don't know what else to review. Thank you guys always for watching. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye everyone.